Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to cut through all the noise, basically take a whole load of research, and really boil it down to what you actually need to know. Today, we're diving into budget assistant interview questions and answers. We've looked at sources like the hellointern.in blog, which honestly gives a great roadmap for anyone thinking about this kind of role.
Yeah, and our mission today, it isn't just to read off a list. It's about pulling out the really important stuff, giving you a shortcut kind of to understanding what it really takes to do well in these interviews, and maybe more importantly, what the job itself is actually about. It's definitely not about just memorizing answers. It's more grasping the core ideas, the expectations. That's what really helps you succeed.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. We all kind of know what a budget is, right? A financial roadmap. But why do some roadmaps work and others, well, don't? Let's talk about the different philosophies because it's rarely just, a simple spreadsheet.
That's a really good place to start. I mean, the core idea, sure, it's a financial plan, income, expenses, all that.
Yeah.
But the way you do it, that's where the differences lie. Our research pointed to two main approaches people talk about. First, there's zero-based budgeting, which is basically like hitting reset every single budget period. Every single expense has to be justified from the ground up. Doesn't matter what you spent last year. Really makes you look closely at every dollar.
Okay. So total justification every time. What's the alternative then?
Right. The main alternative is incremental budgeting. That's where you take last period's budget as your starting point. You basically tweak last year's numbers, adjust for inflation, maybe expected growth, little changes here and there. It's often faster, yeah. Less work involved up front.
But maybe less thorough. Could let old habits stick around?
Exactly. That's the risk. It can perpetuate old inefficiencies if you're not careful.
Yeah.
But understanding these two approaches, it's not just theory. It helps you see the strategic choices a company's making. And that's useful whether you're planning for a big company or just, your own household budget.
Right. Makes sense. So, okay, you understand the philosophy. How do you actually do it? That gets us to the toolkit, right?
Yeah.
The practical stuff. What tools, what technical skills are really non-negotiable for a budget assistant?
Yeah, this is where the rubber meets the road. You
Ah.
absolutely need to be proficient with budgeting software. That's key. We're talking Excel, obviously, but also more specialized stuff like QuickBooks, maybe Zero, various budgeting apps out there.
Yeah.
And you need to know the features, inside-out forecasting tools, how to generate reports easily, getting data in and out smoothly.
And when you say Excel,
Yeah.
you mean more than just adding up a column, right? There's a deeper level expected.
Oh, absolutely. For Microsoft Excel, yeah, we're talking power user level. Seriously. Think about using pivot tables to instantly summarize huge amounts of data, or using VLOOKUP to link related information across different sheets. Even macros, they sound complicated, but they can automate repetitive tasks, freeing you up to actually analyze the numbers, not just, punch them in.
So it's about efficiency and insight.
Exactly. These tools are the backbone. They let you turn raw data into something meaningful. And beyond Excel, experience with different accounting systems is also really important. Just knowing how data entry works, how reporting works, how reconciliation happens across various platforms.
Okay, so crunching numbers efficiently, but also making sense of them.
Precisely. Which brings us to two other really critical skills: variance analysis and forecasting. Variance analysis isn't just finding a difference between budget and actuals. It's like detective work, figuring out why things are off. Was it lower sales, unexpected costs? Understanding the why is what lets you offer real insights. And forecasting, well, that's about knowing different methods, the tools you use, but also, crucially, understanding the limits. How you deal with the fact that the future is, well, uncertain. These skills, they're about accuracy, sure, but also about looking ahead. Foresight.
Okay, but let's be real for a second. Even with the best tools, things don't always line up perfectly. Unexpected stuff happens. I remember totally blowing my personal budget once on a last-minute trip. Really made me appreciate contingency funds. How do you handle those bumps in a professional setting? How do you keep things accurate?
Yeah, that's a perfect example. And it happens in business too. The sources we looked at really stressed that accuracy comes from being super meticulous. Constant record keeping, regular reconciliation, like checking everything against everything else and using the right software to track it all. Cross-checking data sources is huge. And when you do find a discrepancy, the approach has to be methodical. You dig in, find the source, could be checking receipts, looking for simple data entry mistakes, analyzing spending trends, just like figuring out where that vacation money vanished to. Then you report what you found and suggest how to fix it or adjust for it.
Okay, so what are the usual suspects? What typically throws budgets off track, and what do you do about it?
The common culprits are often things like unexpected expenses like your trip, or maybe inaccurate forecasts, or just not having good data to begin with. The solutions, pretty practical, really. Building in contingency funds for those surprises, using forecasting methods that actually account for some variability, and always trying to improve how you collect and analyze data so your starting point is better next time. Being able to talk about a specific time you found a problem, how you figured it out, what you did, or a tough budget decision you faced, that really shows your skills. It highlights that critical thinking, the investigative part. That makes a budget assistant more than just, a number cruncher.
Right, right. So it's definitely not just about the software and the math, is it?
Yeah.
Seems like there's a huge communication piece here
Oh.
and organization. You could have the perfect budget, but if you can't explain it or manage your time, it's kind of useless, right?
Oh, absolutely. Our analysis spent a lot of time on these soft skills because, honestly, they're how your technical skills actually make an impact. Like explaining complex budgets. The trick is simple language. Avoid jargon. Focus on the main points, the key takeaways. Using visuals helps a ton, charts, graphs. But the absolute key, tailoring it. Knowing your audience. What does the CEO need versus a department manager? Very different things.
Got it. Know your audience. Makes sense. And keeping track of everything, all the moving parts.
Yeah, organization and time management are just fundamental. You got to use tools. Project management techniques can help. Simple things like color coding, detailed spreadsheets, maybe project management software if it's complex, breaking big tasks down, setting deadlines, even just to-do lists and calendars, they work. And handling pressure, deadlines, that comes down to prioritizing, communicating early if there's a delay, and just staying calm and focused on finding solutions, not dwelling on the problem.
And what about the sensitive side? Confidential financial data. That must be a big one.
Huge. Non-negotiable, really. You have to stick rigidly to confidentiality policies, period. Using secure ways to store and send data. Understanding data protection rules like GDPR or whatever applies locally, it's critical. And finally, you need to be able to work both ways on your own, managing your time, but also as part of a team. Collaborating effectively, but also being self-sufficient. It's that blend that makes someone really valuable.
Okay, this is great. So let's shift to the final piece, the questions that try to get at you, the person, the professional. What do those more personal interview questions tell an interviewer?
Yeah, these are less about finding a single right answer and more about seeing your self-awareness, your potential, like knowing financial statements, income statement, balance sheet, cash flow. It's not just naming them, it's showing you can actually interpret them. What do the key numbers tell you about a company's health? Can you give an example? And the classic strengths and weaknesses question, they don't want perfection. They want honesty, specific examples. And for weaknesses, crucially, they want to see you frame them as growth areas. What are you doing to improve? Shows you're reflective, proactive.
And showing you're actually interested. How do you convey genuine motivation, not just saying, I want the job?
That's where the prep comes in. You connect your specific skills and interest to what the role needs. Importantly, to what the company does, its mission. Showing you've done your homework, that you have real enthusiasm, it comes across. Salary expectations, again, homework. Research the average for similar roles, your location, your experience level, then state a realistic range. And honestly, a big tell is the questions you ask the interviewer at the end. Asking smart questions about the role, the team, the company culture, challenges they're facing, shows you're really engaged, thinking deeply.
So it flips the script. It shows your curiosity, not just that you prepared answers.
Exactly. And it shows a commitment to learning, which is vital. The research also highlights staying current. Things like reading industry news, attending webinars, networking, it all feeds into showing you're serious about your professional development. These questions, they really reveal self-awareness, initiative, that commitment to always learning. Vital for any career, really, not just budgeting.
Wow, this has been quite the deep dive. Seriously comprehensive. We've gone from the very definition of a budget, the strategies behind it, all the way through the tech skills, the problem solving, right down to communication, organization, handling confidentiality, and those personal insights. It's clear this role is way more than just numbers. It's about financial storytelling almost, strategic partnership.
Absolutely. And this whole exercise, it's not just prepping for one specific interview, is it? It's really about understanding the whole picture of what this kind of role involves. And that connects, like you said, to bigger ideas about advancing your career, finding opportunities, themes that apply anywhere.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. As you go forward, whether it's for this specific role or just learning something new, think about how really mastering the interview, understanding the why behind the questions, not just the answers, is kind of like mastering any complex subject. It's this ongoing process, right? Continuous learning, strategic thinking, turning information into actual understanding and usable insight.